So now we were into the final stretch with our last couple of lightning talks. The first of our final batch is Dr. Ashima Chawla, a senior research engineer specializing in AI and machine learning with a PhD in deep neural networks. Ashima's work focuses on building human-centered AI systems with experience across LLMs, explainability, and real-world ML applications. And she is going to tell us about human-in-the-loop approaches to building reliable and trustworthy AI, something that a lot of people are interested in having available to them. So welcome, Dr. Ashima Chawla.
Thank you so much. Okay. So a very good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, and I could see the enthu in the room that, this Women in the Loop conference is going very good, and I could see everybody is so engaged. So looking at the time where I'm going to give the presentation, I'm going to keep it very light, try to keep some humor, and how my talk can relate to your day-to-day AI usage. So as you could see, we're going to talk about bridging the gap, why human in the loop is a future of fair AI. So I just want this presentation to be engaging, not just me talking, and you people get bored. So if I ask you, what is fair AI? What comes into your mind? Can anybody answer? Because we use AI in every day-to-day activity. At your work, at home, even to look for your, travel itinerary, you always look for something which is recommended by AI. So if somebody asks you, what is a fair AI? What comes into your mind? Anybody?
I think whatever we have spoken so far, the data, fair AI, like equal representation of all classes.
Exactly. So it's about how people have talked about the biasness, how we are using the AI for our activities. So the first and the foremost thing I would like to highlight is the black box problem. Just wanted to give a bit of an intro. Back in 2018 when I was doing my PhD, I was very excited, to be a part of the research unit at my university. And then the supervisor said that, oh, you're going to work on deep neural networks. I was like, what the hell is deep neural networks? Because I don't even know what is a neural network. So he said, okay, fine, Ashima, just spend a bit of good months, read the research papers, and then, get the gist of what is machine learning, and then eventually you'll get to know what is a neural networking. So I started looking into, fancy this, Python libraries books, and started investigating how you build up all those networks and get the numbers. So whenever I used to go to my supervisor, he used to ask me, how did you define the layers? How did you get the numbers? I used to say, oh, you know what, Paul, see my numbers, accuracy is like 99% on the training, and the testing is like 92%. I was like, how do I trust you? I was like, you have to trust me because this is the same data set which you gave, and I'm giving you the best answers. It was like, no, this is not enough. That time I used to literally scratch my head and say that, okay, is this even part of my PhD, or like what? Or is he asking me something more to push my limits? At that time, I wasn't aware what my supervisor was looking from a long future perspective. And here comes a reality check that yes, most of the AI models, especially LLMs, whatever LLM-based model you use, they are the black box right now for us. You don't know what are they deriving, why are they deriving the solutions. So that's where my PhD was focused on, not just building a good model, but an interpretable model. Okay, you think that as a post hoc interpretation or explaining the model itself. So there are two categories. I won't go much in detail, but just to give you a gist that not just deriving the good accuracy is our target, but also how you derive it and what are the factors leading to a good model is vital. That's what in nowadays we say, you don't just build the AI models, you build the responsible AI. Have you heard about this responsible AI? I hope so, yeah. So it's just about not just having a good data, train it, get the ROI and get it done. No. We have to act smartly in terms of putting the guardrails, be it your financial-based sector, be it a medical. Medical is a very delicate sector, I would say, because it deals with your data, and any wrong interpretation in that could be really, really dangerous. So one question for the audience again, raise your hand if you have ever had a recommendation from an algorithm and that felt completely wrong or even offensive. Have you ever experienced it? Okay. Yeah.
Well, I am a journalist, so my search history is all over the shop, and I don't think the algorithm has really figured out who I am or what I'm interested in. So I get some very interesting ad recommendations that make assumptions based on my age and gender, but then also make the wrong assumptions based on my not age and not gender, but things I've looked up.
Yeah.
I look up crypto stories sometimes, and then they start to assume I'm a man for a while, basically.
See, there comes the gender biasness over here, where, okay, the computer itself is thinking that you're a man, but actually you're not. And one of my colleague, Catherine, like, we work at the same place, and we always have this conversation that, people are like constantly pushing codes, and I could say it's all AI. They don't even have a look. Where is the sanity check? Where the validation is coming from? Nobody cares, because they just want to see the numbers for the highest of PRs and get, good promotions. That's not how people really work. So automation is not accuracy. You have to be a bit responsible. So what is human in the loop? Again, people spoke about this in the entire conference, and I want to touch base this again, where not just in the end where you are coming up with an explainable AI, you're also being involved in each and every step of what an AI can do, starting from the design, choosing what data matters most for the model, biased data, or we say garbage in, garbage out. If you take any of the authentic machine learning book, like back from 90s or 2000, you would see this line often, garbage in and garbage out, because computer really doesn't know what they're looking at. You give them the data and they decide how it should look like, right? So biasness is, again, very important. And in terms of that, I would say that diversity. Like just wanted to give a bit of a story over here again, that, when I came from India and started working in Ireland, here it was a thing that, our organization is very much into diversity. Like, there are people from different parts of the world, not just Irish. You could see a good bit of immigrants. Have you faced the same, like, Ireland is good at that? Why? Why in the entire Europe we say that Dublin has all the big headquarters like Facebook, Google? My company, like, currently we're working at Workday, it has a headquarters here in Dublin, because Dublin government, like Irish government, is supporting the diversity, immigration. They bring different mindsets. Then why not at work? If I am working with a team of 5, why can't we have 3 women and 2 men? Why it always has to be 4 men and a woman? When I was initially recruited, and I was apparently one of the only women working, I used to always feel, I'm missing women. And that's how when Catherine, like, joined our team, I was super happy. At least I can share things with her, and she could understand what I'm coming from. And that really helped in our day-to-day activities. Like, she could understand the mindset I'm coming from, not just the men who are just looking at from a different angle. So again, the women in the loop here are also very vital. Look, then the second one is the evaluation. So there are so many evaluation frameworks now available. Again, this is AI-driven, which I feel they're not 100% correct, but companies tend to use it because they're so focused on running agents, autonomous agents for the orchestration, agents for doing everything, because they don't want their system to die. How do we even validate? Right? So we have these metrics, being executed by these evaluation frameworks, so that before it goes into prod deployment, we don't want, somebody at Friday evening to sit up overnight, forgetting about the friends and looking at the issues. Why did I get this result? Okay, then looking back at the staging or the dev environment, we think that, did we even validate? So now you can correlate all the 3 steps, how at each and every step human in the loop is vital. Fairness in the AI from the engineer's corner perspective is independence. Predictions shouldn't depend on these sensitive attributes like gender or race. Then the separation of the equal error rates across different demographic groups. Again, diversity, transparency is all vital. If your training data is dirty, your model will simply be efficiently biased. I have a video here just to give you some kind of a humor that what AI can do. I don't know if...
Problem? Google's search dominance is being challenged by ChatGPT. The solution? Develop an AI to provide helpful summaries and answers to Google queries. Sounds like a great idea. With the best of intentions, what could possibly go wrong? Turns out, the internet is, well, the internet. The AI began to parrot facts and tips from sites like The Onion and Reddit, insisting that Barack Obama was Muslim, that gasoline can be used in cooking, and it recommended eating rocks as a vital source of vitamins and minerals. It even suggested adding glue to pizza, a tip internet sleuths tracked down to a decade-old Reddit post by a user named Foxsmith. But at least that lends credibility to its assertion that parrots can cook.
So this is just a quick glimpse of what AI can drastically do, you know. That's why we say that the fairness, the responsible AI is vital. Yeah, so why women in the loop matters? The diversity deficit. The AI systems trained on male-centric data often fails women recognition. Definitely, I felt the same even during my PhD, where I had two supervisors, one male and the female. The female part could really, you know, when it was about writing the thesis, she could really read the mind and frame the research questions very effectively as compared to what my male supervisor would have given. So that was my live experience with, you know, dealing with this kind of thing. Inclusive AI, where you ensure that the blind spots are like covered and not being unseen by the majority race. And the perspective, it's not just about fixing data, it's about diversity during the labeling and the auditing phases. So diverse voices equals to fair outcomes. So again, these days, people, they're using this AI-based model, AI-based IDEs for writing their code. So you must have experience. If I just want to remove something, my AI model could give 100 lines of code. And I was like, no, delete it. No, delete it. It will delete few, and then again it come back with something which is really stupid. So I have experienced that, okay, I have to really say, you are stupid. You don't know what I'm trying to say you over here, okay? So this is a class example where I say, I just want a minimal of code, but you are giving me 100 lines of code, which is like insane. And one of my seniors mentioned, you know what, during one of the PRs for one of the resource, if I had to spend 5 minutes of doing the PR, I ended up spending 2 hours in just understanding the code. So see where we land up to. Responsible AI is not a destination, it is a continuous process of human-centric evaluation. So we need to be really important and understanding what our outputs are and how effectively we are using in different worlds. Again, just think from the hiring perspective. If a woman is coming after a career break, especially like Angela, you mentioned, if she wants to apply for a company, but the CV gets rejected by AI-driven talent acquisition, would she ever be like hired, seeing at the AI perspective? No, right? Angela, do you agree with me or not? Absolutely. So here no matter what, how much excellence we have achieved in the form of technology, the human touch is important for the sanity checks. The human in the loop preserves the talent. So these are like from different roles, like for engineers, for students, for general audience. For engineers who are data scientists, they might be aware of this. Explainability tools like the Sharp or the Limes, they use it on an everyday basis to explain their model. Even if you're using a basic decision tree, they are so self-explanatory that you need to understand how the decisions are being derived. For students, study the ethics of data, because ethics is very, very, very important. Even if you are stepping into research, the first module we taught in the university will be research ethics and the integrity. For the general audience, demand transparency. For example, if you go to the bank, your loan gets rejected, you need to ask the bank why my loan was rejected, because they need to owe you an explanation. If they're using AI models in the background and you get the answer what you didn't deserve, it's an absolute failure of the system. So the path forward would be the augmented intelligence, intentional fairness, and the human in the loop, and more responsibility towards deriving the future of ethical AI. And yeah, that's pretty much from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashima.